hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Number 18 is the South Indian derby with a bit of spice. Yes, RCB CSK is quite the rivalry, but in terms of actual contests, Sunrisers and Chennai Super Kings have their own history in this tournament, and that's the game we build up to on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket 4 Timeout. It's a game that Tom Moody has fond and, well, some not so fond memories of. He knows what this rivalry is like. He's back after a day's break. How are you, Tom?
Feeling on top of the world.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you miss Mitch?
Of course I did. Yeah, absolutely.
He watched our show last night as well. So
What did he do last night?
no, he watched our show last night.
He watched our show last night. I think he was enjoying a nice dinner last night.
I think I might have
Even
been out
though
for
when-
dinner somewhere.
And would you two come together and warmly welcome back Mr. Wasim Jaffer?
That's the most important comeback.
Yeah. Wasim, how are you? Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm really good. Looking forward to it. Long break.
Yes, and it's also, you can show the viewers that you have come with your
Yes, the notebook.
well publicized notebook as well.
Yes.
All set. Okay, are we all set then for Sunrisers and the Super Kings? Because this is a home team now that we are excited to see. We didn't expect Hyderabad to be the team to register the highest ever IPL score. If you had to pick a list of strong batting sides ahead of this tournament, would you have said, oh, Hyderabad could do 277? Well, they're back at their home ground. They're up against CSK. And if they win this game today, let's have a look now as we now see everyone enter round 4 of matches. Then with that healthy net run rate, they leapfrog quite a few teams. So they suddenly come much closer to where you want to be at the end of the league stage in the top 4. CSK have tasted defeat for the first time. They'd wonder what that loss to Delhi Capitals in Vizag last time around might mean come the end of the season. But they now have another game on the road to Hyderabad. Tell me a little bit about this rivalry. It's not perhaps up there with MICSK and RCB CSK as far as, say, the noise goes or the marketing goes. But there's something about Sunrise and CSK. There's a lot of pride. There's a proper rivalry brewing there as well, isn't there?
There certainly is. Well, the two owners come from Chennai. So there's that, rivalry, sits firstly there, and they're not far away from each other from a residential point of view either. And there's history with the family in a nice way. There's the families have known each other for a long time. So that's where it all starts. And now you bring it into the cricket arena. It's a completely different level. And I know the record against with these two teams for Sunrisers is particularly good. There's been 19 matches played with just 5 wins for Sunrisers. So they'll be looking to make that 6 tonight.
Could we also add another taste to this rivalry now? Maybe call it the Trans-Tasman rivalry of the IPL. A lot of Kiwis, lots of Kiwis in one team, and a lot of Aussies in the other.
Yeah. Oh, you could throw that spin out there if you like. I like Tom's one better. That rivalry sounds pretty good. But yeah, we can throw a Kiwi-Aussie mix in there. It might be the first time. I guess, what do we call Dan Vittori now? Now he works for Cricket Australia. Is he an Aussie? Is he a Kiwi? We could throw
He played a lot of Test matches for New Zealand, so I think he's a New Zealander.
Okay.
Very simple.
Well, so I can go for both sides then.
Yes, of course you can. All right, and big news that comes through from the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium is that we thought that CSK might have to do without Mustafizur Rahman, a former Sunrisers boy, someone who won the title with them, who knows this ground well, would have been very handy. But he is away back home in Bangladesh to sort out visa issues. He's not available at the moment. But neither is Matisha Pathirana, and that's the big news that comes in as Pat Cummins wins the toss and decides to bowl. Without both their overseas bowlers, and funny enough, Wasim, they don't have any overseas bowlers in the backups as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big miss, without a doubt. But Mukesh, I heard has come back.
Yes.
He hasn't played last season at all. So he's playing after 2021. Yeah, I don't see him play many first-class games as well. So he'll be probably very rusty. But he's a handy bowler. He can swing the ball with the new ball, left-arm seamer. But yeah, that attack does look quite thin with Mustafiz and Pathirana not being there.
All right, now let's just look at the teams, because there are a lot of changes Ruturaj Gaikwad had informed at the toss. And as we just look at the CSK team, right, you take out Pathirana and Mustafizur Rahman. So Mahesh Theekshana returns, who only played the first game against RCB, and Moeen Ali gets his first appearance as well. So the overseas balance, Tom, is quite severely affected here, where you're playing three batters effectively with some all-round ability, and then Theekshana. Mukesh Chaudhary is on the impact subs bench. Of course, CSK are batting first, but given we've heard that from the captain, we can assume that it will be Mukesh who will come in and not Shardul Thakur. Samir Rizvi is not in the batting first 11. So that is the balance change they've made, I guess, with having to play Moeen Ali ahead of an overseas quickie.
Yeah, well, just to get their overseas numbers up. That it would have been a toss-up between Moeen Ali or Mitch Santner, I would have thought. But it's interesting that Chennai are in this position where they don't have an overseas pace bowler. I know two are down, but I just wonder whether they think that maybe at the auction table, three would have been a safer bet to be able to cover all bases. But then again, a lot of their home games is based around spin. Yeah. So that's why they like that balance of spin. But certainly that strategy has been exposed tonight on the basis of, two of their key quicks out of action. So it is going to be tough for these new players coming in to try to weather the storm at Hyderabad if we're going to have a flat surface like we had in the first game.
Well, even more tough, because I think going into this game they would have been, okay, we're missing Fizz. But when you miss Patirana and you're coming up against Heinrich Klaassen, who's been phenomenal, you would have been lining up Patirana to come on and try and get Klaassen out early. So tactically, it's a massive loss with Patirana not playing as well.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, if to break this down for us, Wasim, I believe before this game, the Mumbai-Hyderabad game, which saw 500 plus runs, was played on a red soil surface. This is going to be on a black soil surface, where I think the observations were, from the camps before the game, that it's slightly dry. Now, what does that mean? Is it still going to be a run fest like we saw with the Mumbai game? When you say dry, do you tend to think, will the likes of Moeen Ali and Theekshana and maybe CSK might actually have thought this through with the choice of overseas?
Yeah, I think it probably won't have that same kind of bounce. The bounce generally helps you to hit big shots. Yeah. So I feel the ball might skid on. It might not come into the bat as nicely as in the last game. So we might not see that high scoring game, but it still be a very good batting pitch. I mean, generally here you do get good wickets.
Yeah.
The one thing that, from my past history there, when you have a surface that is dry and it's got a few surface cracks, even though it looks rock hard, that off-pace delivery into the surface can hold a little bit more than what the surface we saw in that first game. So, that may well be an important delivery if you're looking to defend if everything's against you tonight.
It's a ball that Pat Cummins clearly has been working on.
He's
T20 cricket, he's almost
his go-to.
So well with it. It's something he's added to his short form armory, but he also has Jaydev Unadkat. However, we are hearing that Natarajan is back. So let's have a look at the Sunrisers team as T. Natarajan returns, but Jaydev Unadkat does keep his place. So it's going to be Bhuvi, Unadkat, Natarajan and Cummins to form the bowling lineup for Sunrisers. The big news is that Mayank Agarwal, Pat Cummins said at the toss, is ill. So Nitish Reddy plays. Nitish Reddy, by and large, has played his cricket in the middle. And we see Travis Head on the impact subs bench. So you can expect when they bat that Travis Head will come in over there. Tom Moody's got almost a sly smile on his face. Go on, Tom.
I'm just smiling because he'll be loving it. He'll be thinking, this impact sub thing, how good's this? He just goes out there and, swings away and he has his impact as a top order batter. And very much Sunrise are dependent on him to get off to that positive start. But it always makes me smile when you have that sort of person that's sitting out half the game and then suddenly is engaged in the game in the second half.
Yeah. The fascinating thing tonight's going to be, with the exclusion of both Patirana and Mushtaq Azur, is that this might be the first time we see Travis Head face spin, a high-quality spin in the power play. And he's a very see-ball hit guy and he's going to take it on, but Theekshana is quite a good match-up against him at the top, so I'd expect Chennai to bowl him in the first couple of overs, and geez, it's going to be fireworks either way.
I'm trying to think now, when we start these opening chats, right, whether there's all of you are also taking notes for your impact subs according to what the others say. So is someone now going to pick Travis Head or pick the spinner first up? And would that in any way compromise your analysis? Never, right?
Oh, happy to throw a few red herrings out there as well. Send you in the wrong direction,
Yeah, I've had analysts before on this couch or in the studio they say everything so they can never be wrong. 'Cause they cover all bases.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
I've noticed that Wasim does a bit. He's a little bit like that. Sort of throws a few things out there.
Okay, can Wasim Jaffer tell us though how they plan on using young Nitish Kumar Reddy, a domestic batter, in place of Mayank Agarwal? Look at that team one more time. We know that Travis Head will come in. Now they rate Nitish Reddy very highly, Wasim. He's a local boy, he's an Andhra boy. He's by and large known for his role in the middle order. Head you think will open, but does that mean he opens with two left-handers with Abhishek Sharma and Reddy just slots in somewhere to the middle order, in which case you will have everyone batting one position higher?
Yeah, I think Markram probably will bat at 3 and they'll probably squeeze somebody at 4. I don't know, depending on the situation. But Nitish Reddy generally bowls mid 130s. He's a good seamer, has done well for Andhra. Bats in the middle order, lower middle order. And he's come of age. I feel in the last couple of years, they've been with him for last 2-3 seasons.
That's right.
So they've stuck with him. And he's an exciting player. Yeah, he's played few games for Sunrisers, I remember last season, and not done badly.
What's interesting with that move, it then brings the two left-handers to the top, which plays into the point you're making, Mitch, about Tikshana. He would welcome the fact that two left-handers are opening the batting with the new ball, because he is a very clever bowler, and it's nearly dishing up exactly what he would like. So it plays into the Chennai Super Kings' hands to a certain extent, even though they've been compromised with their ideal bowling attack.
Yeah. Could it also be the reason that they've gone with Moeen Ali ahead of perhaps Mitch Santner as far as the spin option goes?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'll probably be the case, and that's pretty straightforward in terms of that. I think if there was more dangerous right-handers in the lineup, I think Mitchell Santner is probably the better white ball spinner out of the two, but it looks like they're going for matchups against left-handers.
It's interesting though. I think they've gone for Moeen Ali more. It's a real Chennai trend where they like the depth in their batting, and they probably fancy Moeen Ali just giving them a little bit more depth with their batting on a surface that it's going to be a run feast, so they can go out all guns blazing, and it gives them that depth. I don't think the spin really came into their decision making, but you can look at it the other way around and think, okay, well, if this is going to be a 250 or a 230, surface, I want my best bowling attack. That's the way I'd be thinking. So I would have personally picked Santner purely on the basis that he's a very canny bowler, and he'll be able to navigate his 4 overs, I think, better than what Moeen Ali could.
Yeah, this also will be a test for Ruturaj Gaikwad, the captain. He's not had none of his overseas teamers. This is the kind of team MS loved. Right?
Yeah,
throw in a little bit of Moeen, a little bit of somebody else, lots of bowling options.
Well, you can guarantee if MS, this could probably happen.
Yeah.
But Mukesh will probably take 4 wickets today. You know what I mean? It's like just pull a rabbit out of the hat and suddenly, oh, wow,
we don't have
where's
two
he been?
overseas quicks. Can you imagine any of the other teams losing 2 of their only overseas quicks, and you'd be like, all hell would break loose. Yeah. It would just work.
But it works. It works has worked for Chennai historically because of the calmness of that. It's not a case of, oh gosh, oh my God, we've lost our 2 quicks. They're down. What are we going to do? The environment around the team would be as nothing's happened. It'd be very calm, very relaxed. It's great. We've got Mukesh back. Brilliant.
The positive thing as well is Deshpande was very good.
Yes,
in
he's
his last
getting better
outing
with each
against
game.
Delhi. I mean, the economy rate was his concern last year, and this year, the last game he went at 6s. So he looks like he's in some very good form. He's got good skill, and looks like he's got a bit more control than he had last year as well.
I don't want to be going on too long. We have some lovely discussions to bring out with the numbers. But again, it's just one of those things that you don't have 2 of your overseas seamers. You have no backup overseas seamers. But your frontline Indian seamers, along with Deepak Chahar, are 2 uncapped Indians and not Shardul Thakur. It's a funny one, isn't it? But
yeah, I'm surprised as well. I mean, they've not played Shardul at all. He's been part of their team when they won in 2021, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
But they've not played him at all, and they picked Mukesh over him, probably for bowling new ball. He can swing the ball, so it's kind of surprising.
I think Moeen and Mukesh go hand in hand, and I think Santner and Thakur go hand in hand. I think if they had have gone, if they didn't want to go with the extra batter, then Thakur would have come in. Like if they hadn't have chosen Moeen, then Thakur and Mitchell Santner would have been a good combination. And they've gone with Moeen and Mukesh, so you've kind of gone a bit more batter strength-wise than.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they would certainly line up with Chahar and Shardul, but maybe it's one or the other here. If this is how they're going to use Shardul, for all I know, he'll just end up towards the end of the league stage in a must-win game and just help his way to form.
Do
his thing. Right, that is the CSK way, but we are still to see Shardul Thakur upon his return. We will see the Super Kings bat first, as Pat Cummins has won the toss and decided to have a pole. And this is a ground that's now getting a reputation for big hitting, six hitting. Heinrich Klaasen's form is well known. CSK would have thought of who is going to be their most prolific six hitter here to try and give them an advantage should they bat first, which they are. And that's Shivam Dube. We have to talk about Shivam Dube now as perhaps one of the key components of this CSK side, and he's become the kind of player that oppositions will also discuss when they line up against him. The short ball is how's that story developing? Dube versus the short ball. It was tried by RCB in what was perhaps a par chase, not really a big one, and he navigated his way to a score. Now, the short balls that are less than or equal to 130 clicks, there's an average of nearly 20 and a strike rate of 130. When they get a bit quicker is when we see 165 strike rate. Have I got that the other way around?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think he scored 29 runs off 22 balls if the speed's over 130k. What we have seen, though, is on those shots, and it's a benefit of working here at ESPN Crick Info, is that we get to see how many of those shots were controlled. And his out-of-control shots, when it's over 130, is 59%. And we've spoken about it at length, is that a lot of the teams haven't had a mid-wicket in. He hits the stickers quite often when it's at pace and mistimes the ball, and there's a really good catching opportunity in a mid-wicket. He doesn't really scoop, so you don't need a short, fine leg. So you can still have your three-man back on the leg side with a catching mid-wicket or towards the square leg. So he hasn't controlled those short balls, but when he's got it, he's hit it well. But there's been more mistimed shots than you probably see from other batters.
Let's look at that one more time. I'll just confirm it. I might have confused you here. More than 130 Ks, right? So the quicker short ball is where Dube's got an average of about 20, a strike rate of 133. He doesn't have an average when it's, say, a little slower, those slow short balls, because he's never been dismissed. 53 runs, strike rate 166. Yes, Wasim, Tom, if you'd like to add.
My thing about this two short ball that's been introduced this year in the IPL, which I think is a great innovation, or it's not an innovation, but just a change, tweak in the rules, is you need to be very measured how you use it. And I think what's happened, it's been all or nothing against Dube. Delhi Capitals were very good against him. They bowled brilliantly, wide line to him, kept it out of his arc and just changed the pace very full and wide, and that was very, very effective. But prior to that, every team has fallen into the trap. You can just see it now, sitting around the bowlers' meeting. You know, Dube, okay, as soon as he comes in, let's bomb him. Get the quick bowlers on, let's just bowl short, make sure the line's here. You know, so it becomes so predictable, whether it's your weakness or not. You know, Dube's, he's not stupid. He would have off-season worked on that game because it was exposed last year a few times. He would have worked on that, even though he's still not a master of it, but he's a little bit more competent now, and he's got away with boundaries.
Yeah. How would you rate his ability to handle what clearly will be a plan against him?
I think he's handled okay, but the good thing is he hasn't got out. If he had got out a couple of times, it would have put doubts in his mind.
It's like the Shreyas Iyer story, right? Suddenly it becomes a thing then.
And what Mitch said, with fielder not being there, he's definitely mistimed few shots. He's been late on the ball, and he survived that. If he had got out on those couple of deliveries, it would have put doubts in his mind, and then obviously teams would have, bowled more short balls. But I feel they need to be a little braver, the fielding sides, the bowling sides, and then mix and match. You can't be predictable. He's definitely playing better than last year, but I just feel they need to be smarter how they bowl to him.
Good resources, the Delhi Capitals, for the plans they executed well, like Shivnoke and Khalil Ahmed and Mukesh Kumar. Looking at the Sunrisers team, though, with Cummins, who always curious to see how he always employs his own role, and now they've got Unadkat as well as Natarajan in the same team. So remember, there's no Umran Malik here, who was the impact sub in the game against Mumbai. They then went for Washington Sundar in the day game at Ahmedabad. But today they're playing the two left-arm quicks for the same time. There's Bhuvi and there's Pat Cummins. So what kind of short pitch threat can the Sunrisers bowling pose to Dube?
Well, I think it's effective when it's above pace, and those numbers that you showed us, it's pretty clear. If you're going to bowl it, you've got to be bowling, high 130s into the 140s. Then it's going to really have an impact.
Yep.
If you're bowling it at 130 or under, You know, he, like many others, particularly on a flat batting surface, are going to be able to deal with it and probably punish it. That brings me to the point around Umar Malik. I'm really surprised with Natarajan back fit. To me, I can't see any reason why you wouldn't play Umar Malik because it gives you a point of difference. You don't have to bowl him in the power play. But if you have got a game where it is a run feast, having that point of difference of having someone that can bowl 150, you can give them the protection outside of the power play. It just gives you the edge to be able to take wickets, and it does give you a better balanced attack.
It's going to be it's a really good point, and I think you probably could have gone in with one less spinner in this game because the reason I say that and make that point is because you've got Ratcham Ravindra very good against spin. You've got Shivam Dube paired in the middle with Moeen Ali, and those are probably two of the most dangerous left-handers against spin in the competition. So you're looking at Mayank and you're going, where am I going to bowl your overs? And you're one of my 5 main bowlers, and then you've got Shabazz, who's your 6th bowler, and then he's a left-arm spinner, right? So if they don't make inroads into getting Dube and Moeen Ali out early, they could really find themselves in the trouble at the back end of this innings.
But Pat Cummins have been brave as a captain. You know the way he's used Shabazz and the way he used other bowlers. So he'll probably fit him somewhere. You know, what I find fascinating was how Pat Cummins has operated this season.
We've still not seen Aiden Markram, the bowler. Could this be the day with the amount of
I think
left-handers that we have?
Definitely, and he's a good bowler. He's got a great record for South Africa, you know, in this format of the game. So you can definitely call upon him.
Okay, there's a lot of options over there, but there is no Umran Malik. Made the point of how they perhaps don't have someone other than Cummins who tends to not necessarily be known for his pace in the shortest format, but we find out how they go against Dube. What they will need, though, with this lineup is that good old Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the one that led the Sunrisers bowling attack to victory at their peak when Tom Moody was in charge of that team. The last few years, the average is on the higher side. He's had his share of injuries after 2018. Of course, his international career was just sort of going up and down, and eventually he went out of contention for Team India. But 19.2 the average in 16 and 17, 8 wickets, economy of less than 6. They made themselves, your team, Tom, they made themselves a formidable reputation of just defending anything. A bowling strong and an Indian bowling strong team. Can Hyderabad get Bhuvi back to something similar to what that was? Can he still be the threat that he used to be?
Well, looking at those numbers and looking at the dates that articulate those numbers, what screams out at me is something you're probably not going to expect me to say is, one thing is the injury thing, which is a little bit, but the Kookaburra ball that they're using has changed over that period of time. I've had conversations with Bhuvi about this over the last 3 years or so around, how the Kookaburra ball has changed. When he was at his absolute best, and everyone else had the same ball, he was swinging it around corners both ways, and he'd get at least 2 overs in the power play where he was swinging it around corners. So he was a serious threat. So that's been reduced, the level of swing that he's getting in the power play. So therefore, his teeth have just been, blunted a little bit.
Do you think that with the not swinging as much, he needs to go to the variation a bit more? He's got one of the best knuckleballs going around.
He does.
Do you think he needs? I've only seen him bowl it once or twice in the power play. Does he need to up that percentage?
Yeah, well, that's something he has done. He's bowled more change of pace, and then he becomes, I suppose, a little bit predictable where the modern player would just hit him straight down the ground over the top.
And those are power play numbers that we saw. But also, I think it might not be a surprise if we actually break down a lot of bowlers from, say, 15 to 17 versus 18 onwards. The power play numbers would be far more unkind later on. Who are the best power play bowlers now, if I just sort of think of it? Currently still in form. Trent Boult comes to mind.
Trent Boult.
Yeah,
Bumrah when he does bowl, if he does.
Boult, Bumrah, definitely.
How's Boult sort of still managed to have that impact when the Kookaburra ball clearly has?
Yeah, but if you look at Boult, he's probably a good yard, if not more, quicker than Bhuvi. He also got the angle of a left armour. So he's got that ball that not only can shape in, it may not be shaping in as much as it has done in the past, but he's got the scramble seam ball that runs across the right-hander, which is a real wicket-taking threat.
But also, exactly right. If the ball doesn't swing, it just turns into that one that goes across. Where you've got Bhuvi and Chahar, who both swing the ball both ways. And if the ball doesn't swing in, They've started from quite a wide line, or vice versa. If they're trying to swing the ball away, it's straight. So they've probably got to be. They need the ball to swing consistently for them to be accurate and not give that width. Where Bolty can just run in pretty much straight down the line. If it swings, it comes into middle and leg. If it doesn't swing, it goes to fourth. So there's probably a greater margin for error for Trent Boult than Bhuvi and Chahar.
I'm also thinking first game, I think he bowled 3 really good overs, or was it 2 really good overs, and could have had maybe
2
one
for 6
more.
he had.
Yeah, and could have had perhaps one more. With Natarajan back, can he be sort of relieved of death bowling and just, if he starts well, maybe Pat Cummins can say, let's bowl him 3 or maybe even 4 in the first 10.
Yeah, if he's bowling well, it's worth giving him 3 overs, I feel. He needs to bowl in the power play. And I think his mindset as well. I think sometimes whether his mindset has changed as well, whether he's become a defensive bowler now, with the ball not swinging, and he's just looking at the economy. And that short ball as well. I mean, the speed has come down. The short ball is not as effective, even though it wasn't his strength. But still, sometimes it does used to surprise you. So I feel, that needs to be changed, obviously. And then if he's bowling well, bowl him 3 up front and then finish him before the death.
Okay, fascinating game here, and lots of plots to the opening 6 overs. Hyderabad winning the toss, bowling. Bhuvneshwar Kumar with the record that we've shown you, up against Rachin Ravindra, playing at this ground in the IPL for the first time. 37 of 15, 46 of 20, and then 2 of 12 in the last game. So he's seen the highs and lows very quickly. How do Hyderabad plan for him now? We shall find out, and let's see if anyone is brave enough to take him in their impact zone. That's where we're headed now.
Abhishek.
Right. Each expert picks 3 players, 1 batter, 1 bowler, and a wild card. Impact points counted as per ESPN Cricket for Smart Stats, and the highest points tally winner will get 3 points in their season tally. And Varun Arun, I think, won yesterday, didn't he, Mitch? So we've sent him away. We've dismissed him.
Convincingly.
Right. And this is perhaps our A team here. This is where it's really hard to win. So let's have a look at the quick season leaderboard to see where things stand. Tom Moody still sits pretty on top. Varun Arun's come close. He's going to have a bit of a break. So Wasim Jaffer now has time to improve on his numbers as he's with us regularly for the next week or so. And Mitch McClenaghan, let's see where he goes, up and down. Right, we've already been thrown a bit of a curveball early by Pat Cummins. You're talking about how he's been a brave captain, Wasim. Abhishek Sharma bowling for the first time and bowling the first over in this game. So I wonder how that affects the impact zone. Now, having a look at that list, since Wasim was bottom and is back with us, I'm going to let Wasim start first. Batter, bowler, where would you want to start?
I'll go with the batter first.
The notebook.
there is no.
The notebook. The notebook is back.
Okay. I'm going to go with Ruturaj.
Okay, Ruturaj Gaikwad for Wasim.
I will go Klassen.
Andre Klassen.
I'll go Abhishek.
Abhishek Sharma. Very good, Tom. All right, Mitch for a bowler, please.
For a bowler, I'm going to go. Pat Cummins.
Tom.
I'm going to go Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I think he's going to come back into wicket-taking form tonight.
I'm going to go Deepak Chahar.
Very well. And Tom, you may just have your third pick.
The wild card, I'm going to have Rachin.
Okay. Rachin Ravindra. Wasim.
Was it me? I'm going to go Travis Head.
Very well.
I like that. I will go Dube.
Sorry?
Shivam Dube.
Shivam Dube. Very well. Outrageous predictions and a first inning score as Abhishek Sharma bowls the first over. Quick reaction. Anybody wants to take that first? Bhuvi not getting the first over, and Abhishek, what are we thinking here?
I think we've all been blindsided by it, and I think maybe that was the tactic behind it. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? When you've got off-spinning option in Markram, who
And
does it for
Shabazz.
you've got does it for South Africa. Shabazz, who's a specialist left-arm spinner, and you've got Bhuvi, who's desperate to get the new ball.
Well, and particularly when you've seen Rachin get 2 off 12 in the last game with Ishant Sharma swinging the ball away. So Bhuvi would have been a great option, but it looks
I
like
think
they're sneaking
Bhuvi
through.
might be bowling the second
bowling the
over.
second one,
Yeah.
right.
And he's not a bad little spinner. He bowls that
There are a
different.
few, we've seen a few variations.
Oh no,
already.
he's good. He's good. It's definitely an area of his game that is not considered like it should do domestically.
Yeah. I mean, he does
because
open
he's
the
got
ball.
both balls, and he can swing the ball both ways as an arm ball. So he's clever. He's definitely worth him continuing to develop that skill.
Very well. Now, the outrageous prediction and the first inning score, Wasim.
Another big scoring, probably 210.
Okay, and an outrageous prediction?
I'm going to go Ruturaj getting a big score, 80 plus.
80 plus for Ruturaj Gaikwad. Mitch?
I think Chennai are going to get 194. What did you say?
210.
194. And I think Tikshana will get head out in the first over.
Tom?
Well, I'm actually, you picked Travis Head, didn't you, as one of your impact? Travis Head he will face 10 or less balls and be out. So sorry about that. And the total will be 186.
Very well. We'll see where things stand then. Tom Moody, thank you very much. Mitch McClenaghan, Wasim Jaffer as well. Big game, and we pick up the chat at the end of the CSK innings where we might see plenty of surprises. We've started already in the first over with Abhishek Sharma as well as CSK's team news. So lots to talk about. Join us then on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. And download the mobile app. If you haven't already, it'll have you covered with everything happening in and around the IPL as things get heated up as we enter the round 4 of games in the league stage. We'll see you at the end of the CSK innings.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.